Well, we are tracking a couple of storm systems. One moves through the central plains here over the next couple of days. More rain for California, which desperately needs it, and potentially a storm system late next week. So our recent storm in the central U.S. dumped a lot of needed moisture here. Everything in bluish pink purple is 1 to 2 plus inches of liquid equivalent precipitation. I say liquid equivalent because on the northern end it was in the form of rain and snow. But yeah, several inches even here in the southeastern corner of Kansas, portions of northeastern Oklahoma. And then of course on the northern end it was a heavy snowfall. Up to a foot of snow fell across southeastern Minnesota through northwest Wisconsin into the UP of Michigan, a very heavy, wet snowfall. And importantly, I've outlined the area here. This made an impact on some of the deficits that we are running here across much of Iowa and southern Minnesota, behind by as much as a couple of inches of liquid equivalent precipitation. Now some of those areas are running a surplus. And it does overlap with some areas that have been in drought. Much of northern Iowa, southern Minnesota in moderate drought have been all winter long. And pockets of drought continue into Texas and Oklahoma. So it did overlay with some of the areas that really needed the moisture. And of course, drought has been increasing here from 37 to 44% here over the last 2 months. We've been seeing that moderate drought. So especially in the Southwest, really driving that where it's been exceedingly dry. We do have a storm system in the Rockies right now that's going to move pretty much straight east here, bringing more wintry weather to parts of southern South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. Winter storm warnings here across much of Nebraska and the southernmost counties of South Dakota, back into Wyoming, and winter weather advisories into west central Iowa, where they'll see a little less snowfall and a mixture of some rain, but several inches of snow possible here across much of the northern third or so of Nebraska and into pockets of Iowa, and then that snow will probably kind of fizzle out more as it moves east and runs into some warmer air. Also, Southern California getting some rainfall later today into tomorrow. Not a ton of rain, but it's something, and they need it. It's very dry across Southern California. Well, Northern California has seen a lot of moisture this winter. Not the case in Southern California, but there could be, in pockets, up to an inch or so of precipitation across Southern California. But there is another system coming in Monday into midweek next week for Southern California, and another system, a bigger one, coming in Wednesday across northern and central California that will also sweep across Southern California. So some desperately needed moisture headed for California. They don't really need it in Northern California, but they certainly do in Southern California, and they could be looking at 1 to 3 inches of rainfall for parts of Southern California heading into early and middle part of next week. And yeah, in red here, extreme drought across most of Southern California, including the Los Angeles area. So that's why they saw such horrible fire conditions over the winter. They're behind by as much as 4 to 10 inches of precipitation over the last 90 days only in Southern California, which means essentially most of those areas have seen almost no moisture this winter, and the winter is when they really see the bulk of any moisture. So here's that Friday system that's going to be moving across the plains, those California systems we're watching. But late next week, we're already keeping our eye on another system that's going to affect the central U.S. This could be another spring storm with severe weather in the south, potential for heavy rain and snow across similar areas that saw it just over the last couple of days. Right now, the Climate Prediction Center is watching anywhere in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa for the chance of heavy snowfall late next week. So the pattern remains active for much of the country here as we move through this first month of meteorological spring.